Greetings, friend. In 2006, Dr. Arto Inkala, a Finnish mathematician, claimed he made the world's hardest Sudoku puzzle. I will show you step by step how to solve it. Click below if you want to give this puzzle a go. And with that, it's solving time. Okay, you may notice if you look at this one and this one in columns 1 and 2, and the one cutting across row 7, you can actually place a 1 right here in block 7. And that's about all you're going to be able to do without getting into very extreme hard strategies. And so what I'm going to use here is something that you could do whether you're doing pencil and paper solving or using a computer like this. So I'm using Sudoku for this puzzle. I'm going to do is show all the candidates. I'm going to make this go a little bit quicker and to show you all the eliminations we're making along the way. We're going to remove the invalid values and the deviations. So if you're doing paper and pencil, you wouldn't know if you had something right or wrong. But we're going to use some very solid logic here using what I call the forcing chains technique. And it's also known as Bowman's bingo. And basically what we're going to do is prove that if we have two values in a cell, if one of them cannot be true, the other one has to be correct. All right. And so that's the Bowman's bingo method. If you were following along with paper and pencil, I'm going to mark particular cells where I'm making the choice between 1 and 2. As you can see right here, this cell in the purple is either can be a 4 or a 6. I'll keep track of the chain on the right side of the screen and highlight the last decision cell as we move on, like I'd highlight this 4 and 6, so you know where to backtrack. And if you're new to the channel, welcome to Smart Hobbies. Subscribe and click the bell if you want to turn your passing interest in Sudoku into a fun and enjoyable hobby. Okay, the cell I'm going to start with first is actually the one I have highlighted because you want to pick a by value cell, and there's only 2 of them, here and here. Because a by value cell has 2 choices, right? And so I call it, this cell has what I call a one-step restriction. If we can just eliminate one of those candidate values, you know you can solve the cell right away. And to make this forcing chain technique easier, you want to stick to these types of cells and only make decisions with by value cells. So we're going to start right there. This 4, 6, and what we're going to prove is why this cell cannot be a 6. So I'm going to put a 6 right there, and because I removed deviations, it doesn't tell me if this is right or wrong. It just tells me that I put a 6 in there. And we're going to see right away that if you looked at different candidates and different values, you wouldn't be able to make another easy solve. So we got to find another by value cell. And if you look, you'll see we create a couple more. There's one here and one here. I'm going to focus on row 2, column 8, and pick this as a 7. All right. And so I'll remove the color right there, put this as my decision point. And you'll see as we create a couple more by value cells, but there's not going to be any easy solves yet. So you have to make another decision point. All right. So for the third part of the chain, we're going, what if this was a 6? And then what if that was a 7? And then what if this was a 4? So we'll start with this being a 4. And if that was a 4, now you'd see you could actually, that would be a 5. And these are also what if hypotheticals. You have a 1, 9, naked pair right there. So you can get rid of all these extra 1s and 9s in block 2. Then with the 1s, you could solve for a 1 here in block 3. And in block 6, and then with the 7s, you could solve, there's only 1 7 here in block 6, and it would create a 2, 6, 8 naked pair in column 7. So you have a 2, 6 right here, 2, 6, 8. It would limit the 8s. You can see these 2 cells, so you could actually remove these 8s right there. And then we'd get stuck again. And so now you got to look and pick another part. So we did 6, 7, 4, and then what if this was a 1? Because we're hitting dead ends, and you want to get to a spot where you know that something is wrong, and so you can backtrack and use the other cell. So we're going to pick a 1 here in row 2, column 6. Again, I'm going with all the by value cells and seeing what we'll do that for the, to see if this could be a possibility. And you'll notice if this was a 1, that's the only one in block 5, that'd be the only one in block 8. You could solve this 9 in block 2, and then a 5 here in block 5 and in block 2. And then across in block 3, you would see here that you have a 2, 3, and a 6. You have a 2, 4, 8 naked triple. So 2, 4, 8 can't be there. This would be a 6. That'd be a 3, and that'd be a 2. And then you could do a 5 here in block 6. In row 7, you have this 2, 8, and you have this 2, 8. So you can use this as a 2, 8 naked pair. So I'll eliminate all the 2s and 8s. And then you have a 2, 8, 9 naked triple in block 7. So the 2 8s here, 2, 8, 9 there. So I get rid of the 2, 8, and 9. You'd have a 5, 6 hidden pair. And now you'll see the 9s. There's only one place for 9 in block 4 now. So you can solve that for, you'd put a 9 right there. And you put a 9 right here in block 5. And then you could do a 6, 2, and a 7 right there. You'd have a 4 and a 7 right here. 6 and 3, 4, 8, 3 right here. 2 and a 4. You have the 3 and the 4 across row 5. 8, the 2, and the 3 across row 6. And then you'll see you have a problem right here. You'll notice that there's 2 7s, the only possibilities here in column 2. We know that break the puzzle. You can't put a 7 here or here. So we know that this could not be a 1 if all the other things are true. So you're going to backtrack to this cell and try the other possibility. And if the other possibility isn't true, we got to backtrack even further. And this is how you use the forcing chain method. So right now, all we know is that if we went all the way to where that was a 1, this wouldn't work for us. So let's try a 9 here. Okay, if you try a 9, then you'd put a 1 right there in block 2, and then in column 2 you have a 2, 7, 8, 2, 8, 2, 7, 8, 2, 7, 8, to allow you to have a 9 right there and a 5, 6 right here. And I want to let you know that Arto intended for you to do this puzzle and take months. And I'm going to show you how to do it in minutes using this system, and you can replicate it yourself to solve any extreme Sudoku. He wanted you to find and have to work with all these different overlays. Okay, so assuming this was a 9, because the 1 didn't work, you got this 5, 6 naked pair down here. Where would we go next? You could do a 9 here in block 5. And then in row 5, you got the 4 and a 3. And then in block 1, there's only one place for a 4 right here. Block 2 would be a 4. And you could remove a 7 in right here. And the reason being is you have a pointing pair of 7s. The other 7s are restricted in block 4 to row 4. So you can remove that as a 7. And that's as far as you could get there. So you got to make another decision point. We go up here to row 1, column 5. If you're wondering why am I picking these particular by value cells, because this is really the key, is I'm looking for the ones that have the most impact. If I remove a 3 or a 5, will I be able to solve a lot of cells right away? And since you have a lot of by value cells along row 1, the answer is yes. And so that's a good reason why you want to pick that particular cell. So we'll go up here, and now where our decision tree is with whether this is a 3 or a 5. So we're going to pick a 3 first. And you'll see we don't get a lot of solves. We have to just kind of keep going back and keep going back. So we can do the 3 in block 3, 3 in block 6, and then you'd have a 3 in block 8. And then in block 2, you can do the 8 and the 5. And in row 1, 8, 2, and a 6. And then in block 6, you got this 4 as a naked single, 4 in block 9, and a 4 in block 8. And then in row 6, you have this 2, 8 right here, naked pair. You know that has to be a 7. So you can solve this for 5, 8, 2. Remember, assuming that this is a 3, we don't know. 6 and a 5 there, 6 right here, 1 and 2, 7, 2, 7, 8. And you keep going along until you get to the problem like right here. You see I have 2 6s now across row 7. Well, since you have 2 6s, the 6 can't be in both places. You know you have another contradiction. So we know this cannot be a 3. So we're going to go right back to our decision point. And if you know Greek mythology, Ariadne's thread that she gave to Theseus to get to the maze with the Minotaur, the idea was he would go back using that thread to get himself back out of the maze. And this is kind of what we're doing here. And we're going to choose now the 5. All right, if you do a 5, you have an 8 and 3 and block 2 pretty quickly. And then you do, well, block 2, yep, and then block 3, 2, 6, and 3. 2 and block 1. Okay, row 6, you could do all of the 7, 5, 2, 8, and 3. And we don't know if this is 3 or 5. We're trying to test both those out to see if they'll work. 6 or 5 there, 4, 8 here. 7, 2, 8, 7. Okay. 2, 8, 2, 5, 4. And then you see right here, we have a blank cell. A blank cell means that nothing can be in there, right? A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 all look at this cell. And since everything looks at that cell, this cannot be a possibility. So we know this cannot be a 3 or a 5. And so this is, we're going to backtrack even further past this point, all the way to row 2, column 8. All right. So we know this, the 3 and 5 didn't work in this cell. Okay. And so now we actually need to go here to row 2, column 7 and try the 1 and see what happens. And so I'll remove the mark there and put the mark right there. Okay, so we got a 1 here in row 2, column 7. We already tried the 4. Let's see what happens there. And there's nothing easy to solve, so you need to go over here to row 2, column 1, and we'll just pick that to be a 4 to start with. And so if this is a 4, we're assuming, and we're going to try to prove that this line chain doesn't work. If this was a 4, you end up with a 5, 9 naked pair in row 2. And then in block 1, you have a 5 because there's no other 5 across there. And in column 3, you'd be able to solve a 4. This is the only 4, that's the only 3. Block 6, this is the only 3. And then in block 5, you'll see that the 5s are restricted to row 5 only to block 5. So that's a claiming pair. We can remove those 5s. And then the 5s now are in rows 4 and 6 and columns in blocks 2 and 5. So then that creates a claiming triple of 5. So we can remove these 5s. Because the 5s have to be somewhere in column 5. And they can only do that here in block 8. And then we'll get to another spot where we got to make another choice. So we'll go up here to row 1, column 4, and we'll pick that as a 4. All right. So still, this is why it's so tricky. You have to keep going through. And this is why I'm keeping track of how the forcing chains are working. You put a 4 right there. In block 2, you'd be able to do a 3, 1, and 8 pretty quick. And then in block 3, you could do the 6, 2, 4, and 3. And then 8 and 2 in column 3. A 3 in block 8, it's the only 3. And then the 4s, you'd be able to solve in block 6, block 9, and block 8. And then with the block 6, you could do the 1 and the 5. So you have a 6, 7, 8 naked triple. You can do a 1 in block 5 and block 8 to finish off those 1s. And then 2, the only place in block 5 would be right there, block 8, and then block 9. And then a little shortcut here. You see you have a 6, 9 right here, a 6, 8 right here, and 8, 9 right there. Well, if this was a 6, or excuse me, if this was an 8, that'd be a 6. If this was a 9, that'd be a 6. This is actually an XY wing, these 3 cells right here. What we know is no matter what this value is, a 6 has got to be one of these two cells. So you can eliminate a 6 from any cell that sees both. So you can eliminate a 6 from right here. It can never be a 6, which would make this a pointing pair of 6s, and you can remove the 6 from here and solve for 6 down there. And that's the most advanced strategy I'm using here besides this Bowman's bingo. But by putting the 6 in block 7, now you can do 8, 6 in block 9. You can do 6, 7, 8 in block 6. And we're just going until we get to a contradiction. Block 5, 7, 9, 5, 6. And then in block 8, 9, 5, 6, 8, 7. And then you notice that you have 2 9s here in column 1. So there's a 9 here and here. That's a contradiction, so we have to backtrack now and pick something else in row 4, column 1. So with these assumptions, this could not be a 4. Now we'll try an 8. And it seems like we're not making much progress. We actually haven't solved anything besides this one, but you actually are making some progress here. Okay, so we pick an 8 in row 8, column 4, or row 1, column 4, and you get a 2 in block 1, a 2 in block 3. You get an 8 in block 7. 4 is a pointing pair in block 2, so these 4s would point down column 5. And then you need to do another pick. So we'd go over here, and we're going to pick a 4 right there. So let me get rid of this. And you pick a 4 here, and we're going to make another decision tree. Okay, now picking the 4, row 1, column 7. You get a 3 in block 2 and block 3 pretty quick. And in block 8, you get a 4 and 1 in block 2. 6 in block 3. 8 in block 8. This is the only 8 there. 2, 6, 9 naked triple in row 7. So 2, 6, and 9. You see in these 3 cells. So that can't be a 9. That can't be 9. That can't be 9. You end up with a 4, 5, 7. Naked triple. And you get a 9 down here in column 9. And then you get stuck again. So we need another decision tree. We pick a 2 here in row 7, column 7. Okay, so we're going to make that our new decision tree point. And pick a 2 right there. If that was a 2, then you'd be able to get a 2 in block 5. At column 6, right? Because this is the only 2. And a 2 in block 4. 6 and 9 in block 7. All right, you get a 6 in block 8. In block 5. And block 6. And block 9. Well, right there. And then 8 and 7 in column 7. 8, 7 right there. 1, 9 naked pair in row 6. So it's a 1, 9. So this has got to be your 5. That's got to be an 8. And a 1, 4 in block 6. 4, 1. 4, 5. 2, 1, 4 in row 9. That's your 2. That's your 1. That's your 4. 5, 9, 2. And then what you see, there's nothing to put in row 6, column 5. So that's not right for a 2 in row 7, column 7. So we go back and check for the 6 because we haven't checked for the other digit yet. Okay, so if this was a 6, if we can eliminate a 6 from here, we can make some more progress. You get a lot of solves here in block 6. All right, you get a lot of solves here in also column 7. You'd be able to look across row 5 and solve all that. And you get to do 5 and 2 in, you do all these solves here. Do 7 there, 2, 9, and you see you have nothing here in row 8, column 4. So we know that this cannot be a 2 or a 6. So we're allowed to backtrack to row 1, column 7. Okay, so now instead of trying a 4, we go up here and we try the 6. All right, making very small progress. Now we're going to try to see that this doesn't work either. If so, that was a 6 in row 1, column 7. Then you get 7, 8, 2, and 4. You get a 5, 1, 6, 4 here in block 6, 5, 1, and because it's 3, 4 point pair, 6, 4 in block 6, and then you have a 6, 9, 5, 9, 5, and 6 here in row 5, 5 and 2 in block 7, and then a 9 in block 8. And once you do this 9 here, you see there's nothing to put in row 2, column 5, or row 2, column 4. And so now we can backtrack all the way to row 2, column 1. Because the 8 and 4, neither one of those worked in row 1, column 4. So we can go all the way back to row 2, column 1. And we're going to check out the 5 now. Okay. Oh. So if this was a 5, then you could get a 9 and a 4 in row 2, and then we'll have to do another pick. And so I go over here to row 3, column 9, because I think this 3, 4 bi-value cell would affect and get us a lot of solving to figure out contradictions here. And so I do need to make sure that's the purple cell so you can keep track. If this was a 3 now, then you could get all this in block 2. 3 in block 8, that's the only place for the 3. 1, 2 hidden pair in block 5. You see that only 1 and 2 can be in these 2 cells, so we can eliminate everything else from those 2 cells. 2, 7, 8 naked triple in column 2, so 2, 8, 2, 7, 2, 7, 8. And by doing that, you'll actually see this pattern come up quite a bit. That ends up being a 9. And you end up with a 5, 6 naked pair right there, or hidden pair. Block 5, you have only 1, 9. And then you got a 7 in block 8, because there's only 1 7 available in column 4. And now you need to pick another cell. So in row 6, column 5, we pick a 5. So I'll mark that in purple. And we'll see where that goes. Okay, if you put a 5 right here, this actually goes pretty quick, because you might see you can put a 5 here in block 6. And then if you look across row 8, where can a 5 go? Nowhere. All right, you can't go here, can't go here, can't go here, can't go here, can't go here. So we know that can't be a 5. That's a pretty quick backtrack. But now what if it was a 7? If it's a 7, then you could get a 6, 5 right here. Get all of block 6, 8, 4, 1. And we like it when you can get pretty far down the chain here, because you'll get the contradiction sooner. A 2 and 1 in row 6, and a 4 or 3 in row 5. And then what you might see here is a 2 can't be in row 3, column 8, because of these 2 7s. You have no place for a 2 right there. So that's a contradiction. So we know 5 or 7 can't be here. And so now we can backtrack all the way to row 3, column 9. And we'll try a 4 right here. All right, get rid of this color, and we'll see what happens here. Put a 4 right there. You get a 4 and a 3 here. You'll notice the only place for a 4 in block 1 is right there. So you get a 4, 3 pretty quickly in column 3. You get this 278 naked triple in column 2. See it, 28, 278, 278. Makes that a 9, and you get that 5, 6 naked pair. You get a 9 in block 5 because that's the only place for the 9. And then you got to do another decision point. I picked row 6, column 7. We'll start that as a 7. Remembering that if we can prove this can't be a 4 either, then we can move further up in the chain. So try for a 7. If this was a 7, then this would be a 7. 7 in block 8. 7 in block 4. And block 1. All right. We just keep going until we find a contradiction. A 4 in block 4. 6 is a pointing pair in block 5. So these 6s, meaning that none of these could be a 6. And then 1, 3, 5 naked triple in column 5. So 3, 5, 1, 3, 1, 5. So this can't be 1, 3, 5. You end up with the nice 4, 6, 9 hidden triple right there. And then that would give you a 3 here in block 8. 20 pair of 8s in block 6. So you'll see with these 8s can't be here. And then we got to pick another cell. And so let's look here. Row 1, column 7, because whether this is a 2 or 6 is going to affect a bunch of solves here. So now we'll go up here and do a 2. Row 1, column 7. So if that was a 2, you'd be able to get a 2 in block 1, in block 4, and block 7, and also block 5, block 8, and block 9. All pretty quick. And then in row 3, you could do the 3, 1, 8 right here. You could do 6, 8, 5, 3 in row 1. So 6, 8, 5, 3. And then a 1, 6, 8 in row 4. So 1, 6, 8 in row 4. And you'll see you end up with 2 5s here in block 5. So this can't be a 2 in this decision path we're on, but we'll try out the 6. Now, if it was a 6, you can get a 3 and a 2 in block 3. You would get the 8, 1, 3 in row 3. You get a 5, 8, 2 in row 1. So 5, 8, 2. You get 8, 6, 1, 4 in row 4. 8, 6, 1, well, 8, 6, 1, 2 in row 4. And then looking in row 6, you go 2, 1, and you got 2 places for a 5, right? So we got a contradiction. This can't be a 2 or a 6. This is huge for us. So we know that the 7 can't be in row 6, column 7. So let's go back and try the 8 now. So try this as an 8. Color that cell. You end up with a 2 and 8 in column 3. You end up with a 2 in block 5. You get a 2, 9 naked pair in block 7. So this is 2, 9. You eliminate a 2 from right there. 7, 4 in row 5. Only place for a 7 in column 7 is right there. So you get a 7 and a 4 right there. 5, 6 naked pair. And you could do the 4 in block 6, block 9, and block 8. You get a 7 pointing pair in block 4. So these 7s, you can eliminate a 7 from right there. You have a 5, 6 naked pair here now in row 7. See this 5, 6 and this 5, 6. So you can eliminate all these 5s and 6s, and you can solve this for a 9. And then a 9 in block 8. Only one possible is right there. A 9 in block 7. Right here. And then you got the 2 in block 7. 2 in block 8. 2 in block 9. 2 in block 3. And 2 in block 1. Okay, and then start looking at the 8s. 8 in block 1. 8 in block 4. 8 in block 2, 8 in block 9, and 8 in block 8. All right, and you end up now with 2 5s here in column 4, 5 there and a 5 there. So that's a contradiction. This can't be an 8 or 7. Now we can backtrack all the way to row 2, column 8. Okay, so this is a pretty far backtrack. And you just have to be diligent in doing these to figure out what it can and cannot be. So we're going all the way to row 2, column 8. So right there. And now what we've shown is that cannot be a 7 in if this was a 6. So we're going to pick a 4 from that. And now we're going to see if this can be a 4. If this can't be a 4, then this cannot be a 6 no matter what. And we'd be able to solve this cell. So if we put a 4 right here, we'll have to do another pick right away. And so we go right here to row 2, column 7 and try this as a 1 first. That was a 1. In block 3, you get a 3, 6, 2, 7. In block 1, you can solve for a 7, 5, 9, naked pair in row 2. Row 1, you can solve for a 3. And then you could also solve, eliminate the 5 right there, solve this for a 5. Do 3 in block 8. And then you have to do another pick. In this case, we pick a 1 here in row 4, column 9. That should affect the most solves. So we'll remove that color. And we'll start another split of the forcing chain. So put a 1 right there. And let's see what we got here. That will give you a 5 in block 6. And then a 7 and a 4, because that's the 4, that has to be the 7. 6, 8 naked pair in block 9, so you can get rid of all this. 2, 5 naked pair, 4, 9 naked pair. And across row 5, you can do the 9, 3, 6, 5, and 7. 8, 3 in block 6. 6, 2, 7, 4 in row 4. 6, 2, 7, 4. Row 3, you got the 4 and a 1 right here. And 8 and 4 in row 1. 5 and 9 in row 2. 6, 9 hidden pair in block 7. Because of this 2, 8 naked pair. Block 8 only has one place for a 7 now. Row 8 has a 2, 5, 8. Naked triple. 2, 5, 9 naked triple, actually. 2, 9, 5, 9, 2, 5. So you could solve this for an 8. And solve that for a 6. And then an 8 in block 9. You got a 6, 8 in block 8. 2, 9, 5, 6 in block 7. All right. And 2 4s now in row 7. So you have the 2 4s. So we got to backtrack. That can't be a 1 in this scenario. Let's go back to row 3, 4, column 9. And now we're going to try 4 here. This can't be a 4. That's going to be huge for us. So this 4 allows us to get a 4 in block 9, 1 in block 6, 5, 9 here in column 9. So we can get rid of the 5s there. 3, 5 in block 6, hidden pair. 6, 7, 8 naked triple. You can do 1 in block 8. There's only 1, 1 in this column. That's possible. 4 in block 8 now. 4 in block 2. 4 in block 1. 4 in block 4, and in block, I already got block 9, got all the 4s. Okay, 8 and 2 in block 1, 9, 2, 3 in block 4, 9, that has to be your 3, that's your 2, gives us a nice 7, 8 naked pair. That gives us a 2 right there. Remove these 8s. 5, 3 in block 6 now. 9 and 2 in row 6. One place for 9, one place for the 9 and 2 are right there. Then 1, 8 in block 2. 1 in block 5. 2 in block 8 and block 9. One place for the 2s there. 5, there's a claiming pair in block 8. Since the 5s can only be in column 5 here in block 8, those can't be 5s anymore. 6, 9 naked pair in row 7. So you have a 6, 9 and a 6, 9. We can solve this now for a 5. Solve that for a 9. 6, 9 in block 7. And when I say solve, it's just if this chain was true. We haven't actually solved the digits yet. Okay, in block 8 now, you could figure all these out. And in block 7, you get to 8, 5. And 6, 8 in block 9. And what you'd see here is now we have 2 6s in row 4. Both those, only 6 can go there. So we know this cannot be good for either value. So we can backtrack all the way to row 2, column 3. This is huge, okay? What we've proven is that all the other decision chains up to the first one are false. So this row 2, column 3 cannot be a 6. We're going to get another solved digit here. Let me go all the way back. So we've proven that no matter what these 2 digits were, no matter what these 2 are, it doesn't work for that as a 6. So what you can do now is solve this cell for a 4. So this has to be a 4. That's what it took to get the second digit in AI Escargot. All right, we did several decision trees. We can get a few more digits, but we're going to have to go back to the Bowman's bingo here. But with this 4, you can solve this for a 3 now. You get 6s as a pointing pair in block 1. So you can remove the 6s right there. And now we got to do some more picking. And so we're going to pick now a 6 for row 2, column 8. Okay, so we're going to pick this cell again. And we're going to do some more Bowman's bingo. But we do have 3 solved cells now. It gets it's a little bit quicker as we move along. So we picked this as a 6, and you're going to go right here now and see what happens with this as being a 1 or a 7. All right. And so first we'll start with the 1. And you'll see that you end up with this 5, 9. So that has to be a 7 in block 1. And we can remove all the 5s in block 2. 2, 8, naked pair in block 1. So 2, 8, we can move these and solve for a 6 and 5 in block 1. If this is a 1, right? And you have the only one place for an 8 and a 2 in row 1, 7 in block 3, right there. 3, 4 naked pair in column 9, so you can get rid of all the 3s and 4s. 3 in block 6, and then pick 1. We're going to pick, so we're going to go here, row 6, column 9, and you're going to pick this as a 1. All right, and so we're going to remove the color there. Anytime you see the color, that means we're just using the Bowman's bingo. We're not making actual solves yet. We're just proving what it can't be. That put a 6 in block 6, 5, 9 naked pair in column 9, so 5, 9, and get rid of all the other 5s. A 1 in block 8, that would only be place for a 1. 4 in column 4, can only go there, which will allow you to solve for 4 in block 9, block 6, and block 4. We can solve all, we'd be able to fill in all of row 5, 9, 5, 6, 7. Get an 8, 7 in block 6, 2 in block 9, 1, 2, 7 in row 4, so 1, 2, 7. You get it with a 2, 8 naked pair in column 2, so 2, 8, 2, 8, which gives you that 6, 9 hidden pair. You get a 1 up here in block 2, and then you get a 3 in block 8, because this is the only place for the 3 in the column. And you'd see that you have 3 5 9s here in column 4. 5 9, 5 9, 5 9. There's only 2 digits. We have a contradiction. We can backtrack all the way now to row 6, column 9. And you can choose a 5 now and see what happens. If we can prove that this is not a 1 or 5, we're going to be able to make some more solves. So 5, if this was a 5, then you have that 1 in block 6, 6, 9 naked pair. You can remove to allow you to solve in block 6 all of these digits. And then 8 and 4 in block 9 gives you a 2, 5 naked pair. 7 in block 4, that's the only place for a 7. 7 in block 5, and a 7 in block 8. 9, 5 in row 5. 9, 5 in row 5. 6, 2, 4, row 4. 6, 2, 4. Again, still looking for a contradiction. 1 and 4 in column 4. Only place for a 4, only place for the 1. 5 in block 2. 9 and 5. And then you'll see there's no 5 possible in row 7 now. If you looked across row 7, can't be here or here because of these 5s. Can't be here now because of that 5. Can't be here because of this 5, and can't be here because of that 5. All right, this can't be a 1 or 5. We're going to backtrack all the way to row 2, column 7 again and try the other value. Let's go back here. And if we can show that row 2, column 7 cannot be a 7 either, then we know that this can't be a 6, and we can actually solve that cell. So I'll put this as purple, and we'll see what happens if we put a 7 right there. Okay, row 2, column 7 is a 7. If we can prove that this can't be a 7 either, then we know that this cell cannot be a 6. So if this is a 7, you'd see that you'd have 1 here in block 6 and in block 3. 8s as a pointing pair in block 6, so these 8s couldn't be there. 4, 6 naked pair. Remove those digits. 5 would be in block 1, gives you a 1, 9 naked pair. And then we'd have to do another pick, so we'd pick up here row 1, column 9, so pick that as a 3. And we'll remove this, so we know where we're going to backtrack to next. If this was a 3, because there's not any other easy solves. In block 6, you could do 5, 7, 8, 3. Then you do another pick, row 8, column 8 of a 2. So go right here, pick this as a 2. And now we'll start this decision tree. That would give you a 4 and a 2. And I picked these by-value cells that would give me some multiple solves. You know, that's kind of the key here to make this as quick as possible. Get a 5 in block 9, 3, 8 in block 2, 3 in block 8. Seems like this is always a 3. 2, 7 naked pair in column 2, 2, 7 naked pair. So we can remove those. 5 in block 7. That's the only 5. And then in block 5, column 6, the only 5 you see is right there. And you could do a 9, 4, 6 in row 5 if that was the case. 7, 2, 8, 9 in row 6. 7, 2, 8, 9. 6 and 8 in row 1. 8 and 4 in column 7. And we're now trying to find a contradiction here. 2, 9, 6, 8 in block 7. And a 9, 6 in block 9. And what you'll see is now 2 places for a 9 in row 7. It can only be a 9. That's wrong. So we'll go backtrack to row 8, column 8. Try the other digit. Okay, let's pick a 5 now and see what happens. You put a 5 here. There's not another easy pick. So actually, we got to pick another cell. There's not any easy solves. We go to row 3, column 8, and we pick a 2. And we're going to see whether a 2 or 4 will work there. All right, if that was a 2, you have a 4 and a 3 across row 3. You have a 4, 5, 8 in row 1. You have a 4 in block 9. 4 and 6, block 6. 4 in block 4 and block 8. The only place for 4 would be right there. 5, 9, naked pair right here, which means that'd be the 7 here, and that'd be a 2. That's going to be an 8. That's going to be a 9. And then in column 4, you have a 9, 5, and a 1, and you see nothing to put right here. Okay, let's backtrack and try the other digit. We're going to try a 4 now. If that was a 4, then you'd have a 2 in block 3 and in block 9. You get a 3 and 8 in row 3 again. You get a 3 in block 8. Always seems to be right there. 2, 7 naked pair in column 2. So 2, 7. Eliminate these cells. You get a 2, 7 pointing pair in block 4. So these 7s right here, you can remove a 7 from right there. 8 would be a claiming pair in block 7. Since there's 8's going to only be in these 2 cells in column 1, so you can remove all these as 8s. And then you got to get to another decision tree. So we pick a 4 right here. In row 4, column 9. If that's a 4, then you'd have a 4 here and a 4 in block 9. 6 and 8 in column 7. 2, 9 naked pair in row 8 means that that would be a 6. And then you have a 6 and 1 in row 4. 7, 2, 8, 9 in row 6. So because of this 5, 9, that's a 7. That'd be 2, 8, and 9. 2 in block 8 would be right here. 2 in block 7 would be right there. And then you notice you have 2 7s in column 1. So we can backtrack all the way to row 4. Go back to row 4, column 9. We'll try the other value. Try this as a 6 now. If this is a 6, we have 4, 9, 5, 6 in row 5. So 4, 9, 5, 6 here. In row 4, you get a 1, 2, 7, 4. You'd get an 8, 2 in block 4. Block 1, you'd have the 2, 7, 6, 8. 4, 5 in row 1. You have 8, 2, 6 in block 7. You have an 8, 6 in block 9. 9, 8 in row 8. 1, 2, 9 in column 4. So 1, 2, and a 9. And then you see 2 7s or the only possibilities in block 5. That's no good. So we're going to backtrack all the way now to row 1, column 9. And this does seem tedious, but you can see these methods are not that difficult. So we put a 4 right here in row 1, column 9. And you see that in this logic chain, 2, 3, 8, 4, 4, 6, 3, block 6, 2, 9, block 9, or it should be 4 and a 2 in block 9, 4 in block 4, and in block 8, 5 and 3 in row 1, 3 in block 8, 8, 9 naked pair would mean that this has to be a 6 and that'd be a 5. 8 in block 9, 5 in block 5, be right here, and 5 in block 6. You have 7 and 8 block 6, and you end up with 2 cells that need to be a 9, which is a contradiction. And so we can backtrack now all the way to row 2, column 8, and solve it for a 7. So that has to be a 7. We figured out that it can't be a 6 by using all the logic chain there, which now allows you to solve this for 6 in block 3. Allows you to solve for 1 in block 3 and a 1 in block 6. Okay, so these are actual solves here, right? There's no colors up. We're making some actual solves. 5 in block 1, naked single. You get a 1, 9 naked pair right here in row 2. 7 in block 6 now. You see there's only one place for a 7. 2, 4, 8 naked triple in column 7. So 2, 4, 8. So then these can be removed. And now we got to do another decision tree. You get kind of stuck again. And so we need to pick right here. Look for if this is a 4 or a 9. And so we're going to start with a 4. If that's a 4, then this would be a 9. You have 9 as a claiming triple in block 8 because there's no place to put a 9 anywhere else in this column except right here in column 5 in block 8. So those wouldn't be 9s. You'd have 7 as a pointing pair in block 4. And then we do another decision tree, row 6, column 9. You want to pick this as a 3 or a 5. So we'll start with a 3. And if that's a 3, then you end up with 3 in block 3, 3 in block 2, 3 in block 8, 4, 8, 5 in block 2, 4, 8, and a 5, 4 and 2 in block 3, okay. A 9 in block 5, so that has to be your 9. 1 and 9 in block 2, right there. If this was a 3. 6, 5, 8, 4 in block 6, 6, 5, 8, 8, 4. 2, 5, 7 in row 6, 2, 5, 7 there, 6, 1, 2. And we're going to kind of look for another contradiction in block 5, 5, 1 in column 6, 4, 8, column 7, 9, 5 in column 9, and then a 2, 8, 4 in column 4, 2, 8, 4. And then now in row 8, you'll see you have a 6, 9 for 3 cells here, right? No place to put a 5, so we know it's a contradiction. We go back, track to row 6, column 9, and try the 5. Okay, so try that as a 5. Row 6, column 9. And so you get some quick solves in row 6 if this was the case. In block 6, you could figure that out. Nice. You'd have a 3 in block 3, 7 in block 8, 3, 6 hidden pair in block 8. You'll notice these are the only 2 digits cells that contain a 3 and a 6. 9 in block 7, because now the hidden pair. 2s is a claiming pair in block 9, so that can't be, those wouldn't be 2s. And then we have to make a decision tree, so we come here to row 8, column 8, and pick that as a 2. All right, so now we're going to check out this value for the 2 and for the 5. This is a 2. You could solve all those cells in block 9, 4, 2 in block 3, 6, 8 in row 1, 5, 9 in block 8. Well, I see them in block 5 actually. We can do the 5 right there. Now we can do the 9. Block 2, you'd be able to figure out all these digits. And then in row 2, yep, we got those. And you look in row 7, you have 2 6s here in block 8. That can't happen, so we can backtrack. All right, so the 2 can't work. Now we're going to see if the 5 can work. In row 8, column 8. Okay, so try that as a 5. Okay, as a 5, yeah, 4, 8, 2 right there. 2, 4 in block 3. And then in block 2, 5, 8, 3, 4. And then in row 8, column 4 is nothing. So we can backtrack all the way now to row 5, column 1. And you can make a solve. So you know there's going to be a 4, so you're going to put a 9 right there. And now we'll see how much solving we can do, or if we need it before we need another decision tree. If this is a 9, you'll see you get a 5, 6, and a 4 right there. And then in block 6, you got a 6 and an 8. And these are all solved cells. There's no colors up. And then in column 1, there's only one place for a 4 and only one place for a 7 because you got a 2, 8 naked pair. 4 in block 2. It can only be in row 3. There's only one spot for that 4. And then in block 2, now you can solve this 8, solve this 3, solve this 5. Okay, and block 3, 2, 4, and a 3 you can solve. In block 6, you got the 5 and the 3 right there. So far, this is getting pretty smooth. You have a 2, 8 naked pair in block 7. So this 2, 8 means none of these can be a 2 or an 8. And you'll be able to solve this cell now for a 6. And then you'll be able to also see that there's a 2, 8 naked pair in row 8. You can solve this cell for a 9. Which means you can solve this for a 9, a 7, 9, 1 and a 2, 1 and a 9. And look at this. I think we're going to continue our solves here. 7, 2, 8, 7. Okay, 6 and 3. These are both 5 and 8. That's got to be a 1. That's a 5. That's a 6. And amazing, there's no contradictions anymore. All right, because we figured out all of the target cells that and why they couldn't be a certain value, so that now we know with certainty what these cells have to be. That's a 9, that's a 4, that's an 8, and our last digit is a 2. See what extreme strategy I use to solve this next puzzle. Thank you so much for watching.